Hi friends, it's Hannah, and I'm so glad you're here. Today we're going to be doing 2 Christmas mannequins, so let's get started. I'm going to be using 2 Christmas trees from the Dollar Tree, red velvet ribbon with white trim, gold open weave ribbon, a round coaster, all from the Dollar Tree, a Barbie doll that I bought at Walmart for under $5, some glitter beads from the Dollar Tree, and my glue gun. The first thing that we're going to do is open up the 2 Christmas trees all the way, and once they're opened, you're going to use an X-Acto knife. Actually, I use the little cutting blade that I bought from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to remove them. You can see how there's threads, and you just cut through the threads and pull out every one. I like these because they're the perfect length for the Barbie, and they're all sized and ready to go, and they're $1.25 for each tree, and you get a lot of greenery. But please feel free to use any type of greenery that you wish. Once all of the greenery is removed, I just put it all together with the longest piece, the long pieces, the medium pieces, and the short pieces, because I'm going to use every single branch from these 2 trees to make the dress. On the Barbie, we're going to remove her head, and I'm trying to do it so it doesn't look so gross, but you just turn the head and pull it away from the neck as far as possible, and using scissors or wire snips, you just cut the head off, and I removed the head and put it to the side, and now we have a mannequin. And I'm going to take the top off of the mannequin, and I'm going to glue a red glittery bead on top of the mannequin's head. We're only going to use the red and the gold glittery beads, or you can use all red. I am using the red velvet ribbon with the white trim for her top. And poor Barbie, since I cut her head off, I'm trying to give her some dignity. So I'm going to cover her up as much as possible while I am making her. Add glue to Barbie's feet. Make sure you get a Barbie that has flat feet or flat shoes on, and with hot glue, glue her right in the middle of the coaster. And then we're going to go around the back and cut off the rest of Barbie's outfit. And as I said, I'm going to give her as much dignity as possible while we're making the video. And I begin with the longest pieces from the Christmas tree, and I just glue them to her waist. And I go around her entire waistline, and I glue all of the long pieces all the way around the Barbie. And I'm going to lift her shirt up and give you a better idea how I do it. And I do glue these pieces as close together as possible. And I use the piece that is the closest to the stem at her waistline, and the piece that is the farthest away at the end of each branch at the bottom. So this is the beginning of this mannequin's dress. And so we've gone all the way around with the longest pieces, and I just continue to add long pieces until the dress is full, and then I move in with the shorter pieces. And I also take some of the pieces and I even fold them in half to make sure that we get all the way down to the bottom of the mannequin's dress, so that it completely touches the floor and you can no longer see her shoes or the coaster at all. I completely fill this in because I want her dress to be beautiful and full. So I just continue on filling in the pieces until I'm happy with the fullness of the dress and I feel like it's even on the front and in the back and on the sides and that the bottom is even as well. And you can see how I am just methodically and precisely placing all the pieces of the greenery until I'm happy with her dress. Once I'm happy with the dress, I place the bodice on. I run a bead of glue down the center of her back and I firmly place the bodice on the ribbon around so that it's covering the top part of the dress and so that it fits her, and I pull very tightly on it and glue it in the back because I want it to be a form-fitting bodice. And as you can see, it looks absolutely beautiful. And then I take these beads that I got from the Dollar Tree and they are just glued to a paper and they're self-adhesive, and I placed one around her neck as a choker and it goes beautifully with the red on the top of the mannequin. And then the next thing I do is I begin to glue red and gold beads all over her dress. I actually made two of them. One I did with just red beads and added glitter to the dress. And this one I'm doing red and gold beads all around the dress. And it is looking absolutely beautiful. I just love how glamorous and festive that this mannequin is turning out. She really would grace any niche or any place that you decide to put her for the Christmas season. She is truly beautiful. And I continue to add the beads all the way around the dress, and I add different sizes of the glittery beads. I add some that are large, I add some that are medium, and as you can see up close to her waist, I add the smallest beads. And then I just continue all the way around her dress. And doesn't she look beautiful? And then finally, we're going to give this mannequin a wrap. And I'm going to use the open weave gold ribbon as a shawl for this mannequin. And I just wrap it from the top of her shoulders, tuck it under her arms, and then I pull the two pieces to the back after I'm happy with the way that I've arranged it at the top. And then I bunch the two pieces together at the back, and about halfway down her dress, I bunch them up and I glue them together and in a pinched or a bunched up fashion. And you'll see me do this in just a second. Here we go. I'm bunching it all up, gluing it together and pinching it together. And then I used a little gold brooch that I bought from AliExpress for $1 or $2, probably $1 or less. And I attached it to the bottom of her wrap, and then I let the tails hang from the bottom of that, and I took my scissors and I cut the tail in a V, and I just absolutely love the way that this looks. And with that, this project is complete. And I absolutely love the way that this very glamorous, very budget-friendly mannequin turned out. Our next project is a mannequin that looks more natural, and I purchased the mannequin itself at the thrift store. I'm using a little piece of burlap, some miniature pine cones, a glue gun, and greenery that I purchased on Amazon. And I am just taking this greenery and I'm pressing it up into the very top right by her waist, and this greenery is staying without me having to glue it, and I just love the way this greenery looks. I bought it on Amazon, and I am going to try to find it again and link a description to it and send you a link in my description box so that you can purchase it if you so choose. But you get an awful lot of it. It's beautiful and it doesn't cost very much money. So I love that fact that it's so great and economical. And I just continue and I go all the way around the bottom, right beneath her waist, and I push the picks in, and then I just really press on them so that they are very, very tight and they are not going to come off until I take them off. And so I did not have to use any glue at all putting this greenery around this mannequin's waist. I've also seen this mannequin on Amazon, and if I can find her, I will also try to leave a link to her in the description box. Then I take the greenery because her dress isn't quite long enough or full enough, and I just push it up through underneath the bottom of the greenery, and that greenery stays as well without me having to glue any of it. And then I take this smaller greenery and just for another added layer and texture, and I love the way that it looked on her dress. It looked so decorative and festive. I just added it all the way around the center part of her dress, and I also bought this greenery on Amazon. And then after I was finished adding that part, I really loved the way that it looked, and I started adding the smaller greenery at the bottom of the dress just to make sure that we had some cohesion in the dress. And I used that to add to the bottom of the dress to cover up the white portion and to go all the way around the dress and make sure that the hem was coming all the way to the bottom. And on these smaller pieces that I added to the bottom, I did have to use hot glue. On the ones on top, I didn't, and the ones on the top, I did. And now I'm using just a scrap of burlap that I had, and I am hot gluing it very tightly to around her waist and on top of the greenery. And I did shred or fray the burlap a little bit, and then I'm using another piece to make her wrap. And after I frayed it, I just cut off all the long pieces so the fraying looked just right. And then I'm just working with the wrap to try to get it to look like a shawl that's fitting close to her body. And I just continue to work with it until I am really happy with the way that it looks. And once I've done that, I glue it down. I glue it in the back, and then if there's any little pieces that stick out, like this piece right here, I just use my fingers and a paintbrush and I just pull the bodice in so that it fits tight to her body at the bottom of the shawl. And then I cover that up with the other side of the shawl. I just pull it over that piece and I just keep working with it, making sure that I'm happy with the way that it looks all the way around the dress. And then I glue that last piece down and I just hold it until the glue is set. And I love the way that this rustic shawl looks with the pine. I think it looks absolutely beautiful, and I love the way the dress turned out as well. And the next thing that I do is I add a miniature pine cone and just a very small bunch of red berries to her waistline and another pine cone. And I wanted just to give her that one pop of color. And then I add in some miniature pine cones along the top portion of her dress, and I removed some of the ones that you saw me add because I thought it was too busy. So you can see about how many I added, and then I added some to the ends of the pine cones. And with that, this project is complete. I love the way this mannequin turned out. The miniature pine cones on the two different colors of greenery with the burlap wrap and the small little red berries at her waist. She just looks so rustic and natural, but honestly, I think she would fit into any decor. I so enjoyed making these projects for you, and I hope that they inspire you to make something beautiful. Until then, I will see you next time.